All right, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome. And today it's going to be a conversation around that beautiful connection point that we might take for granted at times, the connection between us and the divine. And that connection point that I'm referring to is the breath. So the more ways that we can become in tune with this thing that we do consistently, the more connection we can facilitate, and that connection can grow into all areas of our life. So I'm really excited to dive into this today, and I've been hearing from Robyn Mason for a bit now as she's stepping into her passion, stepping into her calling, and I'm so excited to just help her get the message out there, help her share her gifts in these ways. So thank you all for being here, and thank you, Robyn, for bringing us into this conversation and leading us today. So I'll pass it over to you.
Wow. Thanks, Justin. I just want to first of all start with a personal thank you to Justin. I did not intentionally send this through Telegram as a message today because I wanted to personally thank you. I've been on this journey with Justin for about a little bit over 4 years. I was the first person he spoke to when he did his first telegram. And I just want to say that I'm so honored to be here with all of you. So especially thank you to Justin for letting me be on your platform. It means the world to me. And also thank you for every single person that's here sharing the space with me and Justin today. And Justin just did such a beautiful introduction through the show post, the announcement, and what he just said opening the show. And that's exactly how I feel about my breath. And so first I gave you a little bit of background with Justin. I started with Charlie Freak, and Justin came aboard. I was at this time just kind of falling into my awakening in 2020. And this is just going to be a short one, and then we're going to go into the small breathwork practice if you so want to join in. But I got into breathing, was listening to Charlie Freak and Justin, breathing, yoga, and everything started growing. I ended up going a little bit over 2 years ago to Guatemala to a journey to become a breath facilitator. My breath has changed my life. And I'm so thankful. And I am so passionate about it and getting the message out just to stimulate other people's nervous system and breath. And maybe it will lead you to, your path and your journey as well. I do want to set this out in the forefront as well. My background was fasting. So as most of you know that have been following Justin, and any of my friends that are on here that haven't been following Justin, he's been on the health journey. I mean, from the very beginning. And of course, Justin can speak to that, but all of you that have known him for a while know that. And so right along with that, I was on that journey. I did a 22-day juice fast pretty early on in my journey. Before I went to Guatemala, had no idea what I was doing. And I was definitely a rip the Band-Aid off type person. Eating processed foods and then go straight into even drinking alcohol and then going straight into a 22-day juice fast. That definitely just being on all juice for 22 days and water, but not much water because you don't really need it when you're juicing. But that definitely changed my life and my health journey and my body. And then I built up into the 3-day water fast, which last year I did a water fast every quarter. And that definitely also changed my life a great deal. So just wanted to give that up front for the discussion today. I do have a little bit of experience with fasting, and I am not planning on going on a dry fast at this point in my life. So we'll get more into that. But to lead us off today, I just wanted to start with a small breathwork practice. If you so choose to join in, don't feel like you have to. If you don't want to join in the breath practice, maybe you can just close your eyes and just get grounded into the discussion today. It's just an invitation for us to go within and really connect to our breath, our feelings, and into this space today. So the breathwork pattern that I chose for today, it comes from Dr. Sue Morter. That's where I heard it from. And what I'd like us to do is I'm going to put on some soft music. We'll test my voice with that, Justin, if you don't mind. And then we're just going to do a short practice. I'm going to lead you right through it. And then after we do the practice, I will to tell you and discuss why I chose this, if that's okay. So this is a breathwork practice that it is preferable sitting up. If for some reason you cannot sit up with a straight spine, laying down flat on your back will work as well. But it is better because we're going to be breathing from beyond, going within the body, and then exhaling to beyond. So if you are sitting on the floor, you could put your back against the wall. But if everybody could just, this is an invitation to now to just start kind of getting comfortable. If you're sitting on a couch, just sitting with a upright spine and a little tilt of the chin down. I'm going to put on a little music.
I think you said something, Robyn, but your mic closed.
How is the music with my voice? Does it need to go up some?
I mean, we can hear it, but it's only barely.
Okay, let me go up just a tad bit. Everybody's just getting comfortable. Is that a little better?
Yeah, I mean, it's very faint, but we can certainly hear it.
Okay. I'm going to invite you at this time to start closing your eyes, if that feels right. Maybe lowering your gaze, if that's better for you. But just start connecting within. First, I'm going to describe the breath, and then I will guide you all the way through the practice. This is a breathing pattern that first we're going to be breathing from beyond the head, the crown, bringing it into the body, and then exhaling beyond the body. This is a central channeling breath. So you're going to breathe from overhead as if you're breathing straight down into your head, the crown chakra, through the center of your brain, down to the throat, the heart, all the way into the belly. It feels weird at first, but you'll find your rhythm and your pattern. And it helps me when I'm talking, if you are doing the practice to be saying the parts of the body as you're breathing, where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you're saying it with me, your breath will be following that pattern. So as we're at the belly, then we will exhale out the tip of our spine all the way into the earth. This will be an inhale and an exhale through your nose. Then we're going to inhale right up from the earth into the tip of the spine, into the belly. And then exhale, pulling it up to the chest, the throat, the third eye, and out the crown. And then we will inhale through the crown, the third eye, the throat, the chest, the belly, and exhale from the tip of the spine down into the earth. I'm going to guide you through this. We'll do it about 9 breaths together. So just get settled. Let's just take a moment and connect, breathing in a normal breathing pattern. In and out. Starting to connect maybe to your crown chakra. Getting ready for that inhale. Here we go. Inhale through your crown to the center of your brain, down to your throat, chest, belly. Now exhale from your belly to the tip of your spine, down to the earth. Now inhale up to the tip of your spine, into the belly, and exhaling into your chest, your throat, your third eye, and out to the crown. And inhaling through the crown, down to the center of your brain, to the throat, to the belly, and exhaling from the belly to the tip of your spine, down to the earth. And inhaling through the tip of your spine to the belly, and exhaling through the chest, the throat, the center, out the crown. And inhaling through the crown, through the center, the throat, the belly, and exhaling through the tip of your spine to the ground, Mother Earth. And inhaling her beautiful power into the belly. Exhaling into the chest, the throat, the third eye, out the crown. Feeling the above, inhaling through the crown, all the way down the center, through the throat, to the belly. And exhaling out the belly, emptying to our mother, and bringing it up to the belly. Exhaling out through the chest, the throat, bringing it all the way up to the crown. Inhaling, finding your rhythm. We're at the belly, and we're exhaling, emptying all worries down to Mother. And inhale, up through the belly, going up to the Father. And now exhaling into the throat, through the brain, out the crown. 2 more times. Inhaling through the crown, the third eye, into the belly. Exhaling out through the belly, down to the Mother Earth, and bringing her up all the way through. And exhaling, finding your rhythm. You're going to the crown. 2 more times. Inhale in through the crown, bringing it deep into the belly. Exhaling, emptying all worries, all stress. And inhaling her up to the belly. Exhaling out through the crown. And last time, inhaling, feeling the channel, feeling your rhythm, and exhaling down through the earth. Inhaling up from the earth. Exhaling out through the crown. Gently bringing your breath back to a normal breathing pattern. Doing a body check. Connecting to heart center. Feeling your breath. Can you be breathed instead of you breathing? Can you let the breath breathe you? Feeling the peace. The stillness of the Father. The motion of the Mother. Balance. When you're ready, you can start opening your eyes. Just bringing your awareness back. Seeing how you feel. If you couldn't hear the music that much, I apologize. At the end of the show, we're going to do an invitation for meditation kind of. I'm going to have one night where, and I'll tell more detail at the end, but where we're going to do a breath and stillness meditation, and we'll set it up where the music can be better. But I wanted to, before we kind of got into the discussion, I wanted to just explain to you why I chose that breath pattern that I learned from Dr. Sue Morter. I chose this because it's an energy flow going straight from the crown down to Mother Earth, a channel through your body. That energy flow, Dr. Morter describes as, we would call that spirit, quantum energy, or bioenergetics. It actually can be measured coming in from your crown chakra, going through your body. It's a channel that she says, and I agree with, because it's a practice that I definitely have been on the path of for 4 to 5 years now, that you're dissolving the barrier between us and others. If you continue to breathe this way, it will change how you perceive self. I'm a witness to that. This is absolutely the path that I took, was through my breath. I'm here today with Justin, and as he said, to help me spread, to speak on my passion and just connect with others about it, because it may be your passion as well, and we're here to share our gifts. If we create this channel, and we can start feeling this channel of breath moving in and out of our body, we dissolving that barrier, and we start singing the same songs of the universe. Instead of becoming isolated and separate, we're becoming one. And when that happens, we start bringing our instrument to the symphony. I know that, and please, this is not an invitation to go back and listen by any means, but I don't know, it's been probably over a year ago now that I did telling the story of me and my daughter in this journey, and I was a nervous wreck. I haven't even listened to it again. I should do that, but I forgot kind of where I was going with that. But Justin, at the beginning of that, he played this video, and Justin, I don't know if you remember this, you can talk on it when I'm done, but he played this video of the symphony, and it's exactly how I feel, that each person brings their instrument to the symphony and we bring it all together. And mine is definitely my breath. So that's why I chose this practice today as an invitation, because this is recorded. You can go back and it feels awkward at first. Breathing patterns, if you don't even know that you're breathing, it's going to feel awkward at first. But you will be amazed how quickly, if you start a practice of just like 10 minutes a day of breathing, and that's broken up. That can be broken up. That can be 2-3 minutes in the morning, 2-3 minutes in the, middle of the day, just getting conscious of your breath. It's going to lead you to your passion. It's undeniable. It will happen. And what it does, and why I chose this, is so you can take this practice today, and if you feel the little nudge you can integrate it into your daily life and become part of the whole and not the separate. And I really feel that, that's what Justin's platform is about. Why I'm sitting here today and all the ones that went before me is because there's one in goal, which is a never ending goal. It goes on and on and on, never ending, but it's for all of us to be part of the whole. So that was my introduction. And I'd love to hear any thoughts that you may have, Justin. And then I thought after that, I kind of wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to get your thoughts on what we just did. And then I wanted to ask you a question about, because this is also about Justin's dry fast and his breath. So I kind of wanted to ask you a question leading into that discussion. And then, of course, it's always open. And if someone raises their hand, Justin will be glad to let you speak.
Thank you so much, Robyn. That was such a beautiful little moment to, just remind ourselves. I mean, what you shared, and there are various forms of it, but that's a form of pranayama, which is all about centering the breath and connecting back to the immaterial. And each of our chakras represent a portal to the immaterial, the unmanifest. And working congruently, they do act as that symphony within us, all each playing their own instrument. And the breath is like the wind behind their sails. So breathing practices like that are so helpful to really deepen our connection within. And it's no accident that the sort of divergent point that was chosen for this breathing exercise was chosen at the solar plexus, because the solar plexus it represents the place where our chrism oil, that sacred seed, that's where it is born, where Christ is born in a manger. And so when we can center around that point, you notice how you're clearing out all that is underneath to make way for that elevation and that rise, so that we can raise the Christ within. So that was amazing, and thank you so much for that. And I'm excited to go further into this, and I think that's all the thoughts I had to share on the practice itself that you gave and your opening.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful. And yes, everything that he said. And, I learned this is like my mentor that I'm talking to. We learn together. So beautiful. So I kind of to start off the discussion, because although I have been on this platform with Justin before, we do not know each other that well. There was a couple of times that everything was set in place for me to go meeting, and it wasn't the right time. So I kind of wanted to start with Justin, and just what you just shared, was absolutely beautiful and absolutely gives me insight to part of the answer to this question. But if you could just go a little deeper into discussing and telling us, what is your personal relationship with your breath? And I do know, a little bit of your journey about, I know that Justin has been on a 14-day meditation, silent retreat. And of course, if you're in meditation, your breath is part of that. I know, he has done yoga and different things like that. And I know he took one class. I can't remember. I think it was in Texas, but I can't remember that the breath integrated. But I just wanted to hear you speak on a little bit deeper your personal connection with your breath. Not to throw you on the spot there, but we could just start there.
Oh, I don't mind. Yeah. So the silent meditation retreat was Vipassana, and so it was 10 days, not 14, but um, yeah, that was a very powerful opportunity to sort of there wasn't as much focus on the breath itself. It was really, yeah, that practice is very, very simple, but that's why it's so powerful, because it is so simple. It was simply just observing the body from a completely neutral observational standpoint, and of course being in silence, and all of that helps to really center oneself, and um, all of that. So yeah, the breath was, as you mentioned, to allow yourself to be breathed. That's what you end up sort of falling into as you go deeper into that meditation style. Is it's not as much a conscious um, awareness of the breath, but the breath just becomes, you are the breath, you are all of it. So that's certainly to describe that layer of my experience. And then another one is Kriya Yoga, so which is a meditation style. So that's Vipassana is going to be more from a Buddhist perspective, and then Kriya is more of a Vedic perspective, both of which are extremely powerful techniques. Kriya is a bit more involved with breathing at particular times and in particular ways, and they do focus a lot on certain types of pranayamic breathing that are similar to what you did, but all about marrying the breath with the chakras and cleansing and clearing as each breath goes. So yeah, that's sort of my more formal experience there. And then of course just researching various things out there of different breathing practices and styles that people will do, and sort of finding what suits me best in whatever moment. And yeah, so that's kind of the gist of my experience.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's not anything new. Breath is a core foundation of all, practices, ancient practices, and many other. And it's not much research that I was finding on fasting and breath. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, because I don't I don't see this to how it could be separate, you know. And even if the breath, I want to get into, did you feel like you couldn't breathe, at times? And I also would like to talk about if you prepped for your breath at all. But just for a second, I'll tell everyone my personal relationship with my breath. Um, so my background is anxiety, and anxiety also led me into some spaces that it was easily to um, open the door to become, I mean, if you will, we'll just use addictions, but I did use alcohol. I do feel like I used it as a self, medicating thing. And I realized that it was because I wasn't breathing. And when I started the breath practices, so it started with a 30-day breath challenge that I was doing on yoga, just with this girl from Texas, Adrienne. And I noticed that my anxiety was becoming controlled somewhat from my breath. and I liked it. And so I did the 30-day challenge again. And then I did it again. So after 90 days, I decided that yes, breath work is definitely something. And then that led into the Guatemala, and this is where I am today. Um, and if you've ever lived with anxiety, or even can just remember a time, because we've all had a time where we had anxiety, it can be crippling. And for me personally, to be able to regulate my own nervous system is everything. I can get myself out of situations like people pleasing. Hi, Robyn, I am a people pleaser. I will not tell you the truth because I will try to please you. That was me. And my breath pulled me out of that. It really did start breaking the barrier. So every single day, I start, with breath practices and meditation, and most of the time I end with meditation, and I use a breath practice at the beginning of my meditation to get me into a state of being able to go within quietly. So that's my foundation of the breath. Where I guess I'd like to ask you, Justin, it's just all those questions about, let's go first, kind of going along with your outline. At first, with prepping that you went through yesterday, and he has the notes on that posted, and I believe I know the recording's posted, so you can go back and get that if you do not know what we're referring to. But as far as your notes and going down to prepping, I know you didn't speak much on the breath yesterday because we were having this today. Like, did you consider the breath at all during the prepping process? And then we'll go from there, and I'll give you my thoughts on, if that is something like to entertain even when doing that, or what I think about that.
Yeah, great question. And I'll say that consciously, it wasn't something that I considered that much, aside from just regular meditation practice, which I did deepen and prior to and during to some degree, although I shifted the practice considerably during the fast, just because of how I was. But yeah, as far as specifically considering the breath, preparing for a fast like that, no, I didn't consider it. But that's why I mentioned to you, and of course it's no accident to do it this way, but it would have been great to have consulted with you prior to that, because even having that being consciously aware of that, as I explained in the presentation, what makes dry fasting so powerful is your body actually starts to burn off toxins, and it can overheat, and then it uses your airway as the primary source of elimination, primary pathway of elimination. So there were definitely moments where I just sat and I just did deep breathing. I would do my own pranayama from wherever I was, however I was able to sit or lay. But yeah, I do see that as a big potential for going deeper into those areas. And I've mentioned before, and this was something that Benjamin Carter brought to my attention in regards to the ways that we sort of step towards pranic living and recognizing the various forms of energy that we can tap into in this physical creation. And the lowest of those is the earth, and which would represent the the mineral, or so let me rephrase that. So the five elements represent these five different forms of energy that we can tap into. Earth being the lowest, which are represented by minerals, physical food, and frugivore way, the raw living foods being the highest form of physical food. So we're aware of that. But then as we go deeper into this, then we start to recognize these other elements as a source of energy. So the next one would be the water. And that's something that dry fasting can really show you, which I found so encouraging, going from a dry fast to a day of water fasting, because I felt so incredibly nourished and energized just by drinking water. And I could have continued. I could have continued water fasting after that point. There wasn't any like real physical barrier stopping me from continuing that way, other than just I was ready. And then the element after that would be the air, the breath. So as we go deeper into these forms of fuel and these forms of energy that we can power our body with, it would make total sense to have that be a focal point as you're using fasting to sort of train the body to recognize these dormant abilities that it has. And doing breathing like that would be immense. So I mentioned on the live that some of the most powerful moments were just the times where I would step outside, even if it was, quite cold. I really enjoyed the breath of fresh air. And so I would go outside quite often, just to celebrate that breath and have that relationship with, and feeling that energy flow through me, knowing that I'm not using anything else. So where else would it be coming from? Of course, and just to continue the train of the five elements, then the fire is the next one, which would be the sunlight, the light. And then the fifth element is the ether, which permeates everything. So that's beyond even need. And that's why there are yogic masters who have been able to be buried alive and survived, because they've tapped into that highest element of energy and are able to sustain even without the breath. But I'm not suggesting that we really even consider that state right now. That's very, very advanced. So moving from what we know or what we think we know about the need for food and water all the time, getting into that breath. And I'm not saying to let go of those perceptions of needs right now either, but it is a very powerful stepping stone to move to that state and recognize the breath for what it does. So yeah, I think that answers your question, but I'm happy to elaborate further if you like.
That's beautiful. And I agree with all of that. And it's really exciting and interesting to think about. We need you to do another fast. We'll give you time. That was just a little joke, but um, to add the prepping of the breath, because breathing deep and preparing the breath, and I know through your meditation practices you were doing that, so I do believe that you did get the effects of that. But in just in the way that I'm thinking is like, if you really focus on prepping the breath with the dry fast, it's going to bring more oxygen into your blood, which doing that, the benefits of that are headache relief. It's going to increase your energy, which is available for your muscle energy. And then it also, having more oxygen in your blood, reduces inflammation. Also, just like it moves, as you spoke on so beautifully, it's a way energy. It's another way of energy moving blockages in and out of our system. So yeah, I think it would be absolutely, a great practice to start integrating, like, before going on a huge fasting, dry fast. So that's great. I'm just looking at my notes here a little bit. And then also, you're a pretty calm person anyway, but it's going to calm your nervous system going into, what can be a scary time. Wanting to do, I think I think you did what you wanted to do. You may have broke it a couple hours early, but going into that 6 days, just having a super calm nervous system, I just think would, it's no losses there. It's all benefits to that. So that's just so beautiful. And of course, it can go really with any practice, not just dry fasting. Um, I wanted to also move into the space, and I know that you may have not been thinking about your breath. Were you thinking about your breath when you were in the middle of the dry fast? But I was wondering if you could share maybe the stages, like of the beginning, because I can imagine that on a dry fast, you maybe at the beginning you're doing some deeper breaths, but then when you're getting further into it, you need to save your energy. So there is, and just for everybody, so you know, there are many, many different practices of breaths. And there, is also heavy breathing practices. I do a conscious connected breath work that brings trauma up to the cells and it releases it. And you do this all, you go into a different state of consciousness. This is actually one of my favorite practices to do with people, and because you get immediate relief of your trauma if you go deep enough. And it may take a few sessions to go deeper, but it's a win-win again. But I was just wondering, if so I know that the heavy breathing, you probably would have needed to conserve your breath towards the end, or maybe not, I have no idea. But if you could just kind of like go through some of the different stages of your breathing while you were on the dry fast.
Yeah, great question. And just on the, well, yeah, so at the beginning, for the first, because I've dry fasted before, and just to throw a if in case this is the first time you're hearing this, I'm not suggesting that anybody jump into a dry fast. This is something that you need to be very prepared for and have a lot of experience in fasting before trying. But since I've done it before, and my body has been trained to be familiar with the sensations and what comes up. So for me, for this time, for the first, I'd say 2 days, everything it felt fairly normal. I mean, maybe by the end of the second day, I started to feel some more thirst creep in, maybe a bit more hunger. But the first day especially was perfectly normal. So I spent that whole day in silence and in meditation, um, and yeah, so my breathing patterns were very normal. Throughout my meditations, I didn't have any issue, maintaining that sort of state. And then, yeah, probably by like day 3 is when it gets pretty challenging. So that's when I didn't notice anything like super shallow with my breath. Maybe at times slightly, but I could always come back to taking deeper breaths and just being really slow with the breathing too, not exerting energy in doing it, but just truly just letting the inhale expand as deep as felt comfortable, and but not forcing it. I didn't force it at all. And whenever I would have moments of feeling like I wanted to give up or not do this any longer, the breath was something that yeah, I would just sit there and lay there and just breathe. And I do think that maybe at times I'm just trying to remember, because it's like my cortisol levels were very elevated throughout that whole time, which is the stress hormone. And cortisol is not a bad thing. It's not something that we need to demonize or anything like that, but it can, when it's consistent, um, it can be uncomfortable for sure. And it is what is pumping through us whenever we're in a state of trauma or stress, or high levels of cortisol. And that's also consistent when you're deep into a dry fast too, because your body's trying to urge you to go get water. And so, um, yeah, yeah, let's see. The breathing it wasn't something that I mean, I did do, there was an exercise that I would do, that I mentioned on the live the other day, which is an organ reset by Human Garage. And within that, it is slow, methodic breathing as you're placing your hands in different areas of the body to sort of channel energy. So within that, I was certainly much more focused on the breathing. And I definitely noticed that when I did that, and I'm sure it's a combination of the breath and then the exercises themselves, um, I was able to rest much more easily and even fall asleep, because that was another thing I mentioned yesterday. That's one of the hardest things about dry fasting because of the elevated cortisol levels. Sleep is very difficult to reach. It can be. So you have to be just like flat out exhausted before you can fall asleep. And um, so doing that helped me to fall asleep. So I'd imagine if I had a bit more of a routine or a practice, that maybe I could have modified or shifted towards lying prone, because sitting up became challenging to do for a long period of time. So that didn't feel comfortable to even do my regular meditation sitting up. Um, but to shift that to a way to where the breath could be used to sort of lower those cortisol levels, so that the sleep would be easier to find. So yeah, I think that about covers it.
Yeah, I mean, because like what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling is like with the laying down, that it was really like it was comforting and anchoring to always be able to go back to your breath, and that is just so beautiful. And what you know I strive to ignite in other people is you have a place to anchor right there within you, and you're doing it every day. Doesn't cost anything. So yeah, that was so beautiful. um I don't know that I had many more questions. It's this kind of goes with breath, but because the reason it goes with breath is because when your breathing is deepened or changed, or you're consciously aware of it, like you said, you were doing the human garage, which is half through the nose, half through the mouth, um, then let me just think for a second where I was going with that. Um, it's going to bring up emotions, and different things that are going to be released because the breath does that. So I didn't know if you would be willing to share some, maybe during the fast, emotions, thoughts that were unsettling, or were you just peaceful the whole time? I'm just so interested to hear that. And then afterwards, when did take that first breath in, and then you took that first drink of water, when you said that yesterday on the live, it just like reminded me. And it's really funny because my friend and I were talking about this, and she actually brought this up with me. She's on the call now, Erin. But it when you said that yesterday, it reminded me of exactly what we had talked about the peace lily, and how it hangs over when it needs the water, and as soon as you put the water in, you can really watch it just come to life. And that's what I imagined when you were explaining the journey yesterday. So just, was, there any emotions and, anything released that you are able to share with us through this? What were there any downloads, that you had? Um, and then from taking the first breath in, because sometimes I do know this from fasting for 3 days, a water fast, that during the fasting, I'm just getting through the fast, but it's after is when I can feel my whole, spirit, body, mind connection opening up, and I'm being fed the synchronicities, and everything is just, I'm on that frequency. So just really excited to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll start with emotions. I, during the fast, and I'll just preface with my human design. I am a non-emotional type, and that doesn't mean that I don't have emotions. I have very, very deep emotions when I do, but it's not much built into my hardwiring of my makeup. So during the fast, I was uh, pretty calm most of the time. I'd say my biggest emotion, if you even call it an emotion, was annoyance when I couldn't go to sleep because my body would just be so tired. Um, but I couldn't, you'd lay there for however long and sleep wouldn't find you. So then you just lay there, and that's not a huge problem, but yeah. So I would be kind of annoyed at times, which, you know, is what it is. And then, yeah, I don't really recall any other huge emotional waves coming to me during that time. But as you mentioned, the the biggest sort of, it's like fasting clears away so that we're better suited for that connection. And that's what's been so powerful. I mean, I guess the things that came to me were little nudges of inspiration. And ever since the fast has been over, it's been like a flood of inspiration. Like enthusiasm is back. I I was pretty this winter. This winter, I definitely experienced a lull of inspiration, enthusiasm. I wasn't as excited to do the things that I normally do, and the winter's there for that reason. And so I feel like this really helped to kickstart that inspiration, and I'm feeling just like one after the other, like all these people I want to get connected with or reconnected with. I've I've um I've got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline, which I'm stoked about. And so that's been huge as far as like things coming to me post fast. And then yeah, emotions have, I felt them much more strongly since the fast as well. Like I just today I was working in the kitchen peeling a whole bunch of bananas because they had a huge donation of bananas that were going bad, and so we got an abundance, which is such a blessing, such a gift, because that's what Kali eats majority of the time. So I was peeling bananas and freezing them, and it's a pretty time consuming process because there were a lot of them. So I put on Mumford and Sons' new album because Jill and Roseanne had just talked to me about that, and their new album just released. And man, some of the songs in there, I was just like tearing up hearing them. And so as far as emotional energy passing through me, I'm feeling a lot more of it now, which is wonderful. Um, and if you haven't, just a side note, if you haven't listened to that album, it's phenomenal. It's really good. Um, and yeah, so I think those were the biggest things that sort of shifted, was just feeling an unlocking of my enthusiasm, my inspiration. I'm feeling very, very, very energized at the moment. My body is still like it's almost 100%. I'm still taking it slow, which is ideal after a dry fast. You don't want to go back into like rigorous exercise or doing a lot of strenuous things. But I'm feeling that coming back quickly, and but mentally, spiritually, I'm feeling like on fire. I'm feeling like ready to go, do so many things. So that's the biggest part that I got out of it.
Yes, I can tell that. So yesterday, when you started talking, I could tell that in you. I could feel it. Um, that's like, so on the call today, we have Justin, who's the non-feeler, not saying that, but he feels, but not emotional about everything. And then you have the 100% opposite Robyn, who feels everything, and everybody around you can tell it. So yeah, I could definitely feel your spark yesterday, and I loved it. Sorry about that.
Oh, all good. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so I could tell that you just had, the energy, and it was awesome. Um, and I have experienced that as well after just the 3-day water fast, which is not just, it's a big accomplishment, and you just get this huge boost of energy and creativity, and the flow of it all is just really so amazing.
Yeah, it truly is. And I see Carrie raised your hand. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was just talking about you with me B. We joined together, so I sent her the live stream link. Me B is on the list. We are part of a live stream called Champions of Christ and other live streams, but especially Champions of Christ. And yeah, I haven't been on this live stream recently. Mm, you remember the last time when I spoke, but yeah, been a little bit.
Yeah, it
Been a
has
little
been a
bit
minute.
hectic. It
Oh,
has been a minute, yeah. Yeah, but I'm so happy to be here because um, um, I don't know, I'm in a lot of live streams and I've been traveling a lot abroad in Europe and been trying to figure stuff out. But I have a really beautiful news to share. I would like to share something very important.
yeah, go for it. I mean, just want to check, Robyn, is that all right with you?
Yes, I think that's amazing, Carrie. Go.
So it was a night of it was the 28th of March. So I think now it's been how many days? Has it been 4 days now? 3, 4 days. 28. I'm just checking the calendar real quickly. 28. Um, 28 was Friday. So then 29 would be 1, 30 would be 2, 31st would be 3. Yeah, it's been almost 4 days, maybe a couple of hours before 4 days. And so I was in a live stream with the Champions of Christ live stream with a guy called Jim. And yeah, we had like a 2 hours session, just two of us. He had a live stream, but it was just two of us. And there was a witness in the end somewhere. And we did a prayer for me. I mean, he was first sharing about his life. He kind of like managed to, so I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just listening to him. It was kind of very shocking information. And then we did a prayer that I um, asked Lord Jesus Christ to come into my heart, and I accepted Lord Jesus Christ to be my Lord and Savior. And then I think we had a conversation, So we spoke together. We both were speaking, praying and speaking out loud together. And then after that, he just told me like, now just in the third thing, just forgive yourself. So I was just saying out loud that I forgive myself many times, and after that I felt that I received the Holy Spirit. I don't know if it was the first time in my life or another time. I don't know. I can't say because I was baptized in Christianity when I was a baby, but mm, yeah, I felt it as a physical experience, and it was something so profound that I had no way of saying that it didn't happen. It wasn't just fate that it happened. It was mm, it was like a born again experience. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share, and I'm very happy that it happened. And Jim is very happy, and we've been sharing this news to lots of people, and I've been also telling to strangers outside in the physical realm, and so I just keep sharing when it's appropriate. And yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and what a powerful experience to have, and that realization that it was you holding yourself back, right? So you inviting that forgiveness of self. That's what allows that divine energy that's always it's there, it's waiting, it's ready. All we have to do is surrender, to let go of these inhibitions and these all this all the things that we do, and whether it's been programmed into us by our parents or society or whatever, or just beliefs that we've reinforced within ourselves, when we let those go and we find ourselves worthy to truly receive, then you realize, and that is the Holy Spirit, that 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 divine love that pours through you and energizes you, and there's nothing more magical than that. And that's the sort of that's the Christic path, is to accentuate that moment so that it happens continuously, which is very, very challenging to do. It's very difficult to maintain that, but that's the practice. The more that we can lower those inhibitions and realize that we're the only ones standing in our way from receiving that, and we let go and receive, then our cup may be filled. That's
Yeah.
amazing, brother. Thank you so much for sharing.
Can I ask? I have some, let's call it burning questions, that I've been bothering me for a very, very long time. I would say my whole adult life, like 20 years. It's been bothering
Absolutely.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
so I would like to ask these questions because so I told about this 63 days fasting that I did end of last year, in the autumn last year, and it was of course liquid fasting, not water fasting, liquid fasting, including water, and juices and water and and so on. And my question is that it felt like my higher self, my spirit took over, and the old part of me that was like lazy and just wanted to eat and drink as much as possible, it died, and my spirit, my higher self, took over, and I know that for sure because it was so profound, the experience, and I didn't eat for 2 months, as I told you before, and it really, I really did not swallow anything solid. Really did not. That's the truth. And so my burning questions are these. So I'm an alcoholic. For being my first wife got me into this. I didn't want to drink, but she said that she forced me to drink, and she forced me into daily drinking, and then I became alcoholic, and I've been alcoholic for like, I don't know how many years. I don't know, over 10 years, and but in last 2 years, 2023, I was sober for over 9 months, 100% sober. In the last year, 2024, I was sober for 7 full months. This year, only a few days sober. And yeah, I don't really know what to do about that, because I just can't stop drinking. I don't know. I just feel I'm very, very sensitive. Um, my skin is very sensitive. Um, mm, I have a lot of energy. I don't sleep much. And when I have to spend the energy, I have to go out and walk fast and travel and go to talk to strangers who I know are not good people. Most of them are, pretty much 80% at least of them, are not from God. I don't know why the people of God don't talk to me outside. I don't know. They look at me, yeah, but I could say hi and they say hi and that's it. I don't know. Maybe because I have so much energy. Maybe it's just a little bit strange. But so yeah, so the only time when I can cool down is when I sit in a bar and I just talk to some whatever stranger and have a beer with them. That's the only time I can resolve this energy issue, this over energy issue, this extreme energy issue. And then sometimes I need afterwards I might go to another bar, and I just need to talk and talk and talk, and I'm speaking honestly with people. And let's call the bad guys, they like to listen and have a conversation, and then I get to exhaust this energy, because I really need to, otherwise I go insane. And then sometimes I walk hours and hours in the dark. I just walk alone everywhere, and sometimes I get lost, and I get the wrong bus, and I end up in the middle of nowhere, and I have to walk hours and hours to find a bus, and I have to wait and whatever. But I actually do enjoy that in a strange way. I enjoy the danger, and I always get home. Sometimes I maybe have to sleep a night somewhere, because I'd rather not sleep on the streets. I mean, why would I? I'd rather walk. Yeah. So that's the dilemma of alcoholism and having too much energy. And when I'm sober, it's not really comfortable. Not like I have physical symptoms or something, but it's like it's like it's not peaceful. So I need to numb myself because I'm so sensitive. I can sometimes see these things in my vision, these black dots flying around, and I'm like, it's just, I just don't want to think about that, because they are usually in specific rooms, specific locations in the city. I just see like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff, it's bad spirits around, and that happens when I'm drinking or sober. It doesn't make any difference, which is probably sad. So I just rather go away. I just rather have my vision clear, and then that usually activates drinking quite a lot. So usually it's an anxiety triggered. Anxiety triggers drinking. If I'm very peaceful, yeah, I can go for some time without drinking, and yeah, it's anxiety. It's an anxiety problem. But now things are much better, but I still drink, and yeah, my name is Kari. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Kari. Yeah, so I've got some suggestions. I do want to bring it back to the show topic today, which is about the breath, and I think it's all connected, right? So there's no accident that you're bringing this up right now. I first want to, before I pass it over to Robyn to sort of speak on this in particular, because she's she's been sharing with us her gifts on realigning with the breath and ways that we can do that. So she might have some potential to step in to help out with something like that if you wanted to set up a call with her, maybe. But just in general, I would invite you to reevaluate your relationship around this idea of you being an alcoholic, because I can actually send you a video that I did on addiction in general and these terms and labels that we like to associate ourselves with. And that actually helps to solidify the problem. It ends up becoming a spell that we cast on ourselves to say, I am this or I am that. Of course, we can all
Oh,
fall into different ways or different ways of being, but it's important to recognize our relationship with them themselves. You are not an alcoholic. You might be prone to these sort of activities, but getting to the root cause as to why doesn't mean that you have to stay with that label or stay with that sort of identity. So that's first and foremost what I want to say.
thank you. Actually, when I say that, I actually, well, I'm an energy alchemist. So when I drink, I also, I mean, I toast mostly to God and Jesus Christ, Lord Jesus Christ. Um, I don't usually toast to my health. I sometimes do. I'm a little bit strange this way. Um, I so much. I just dream about heaven, and I
Yeah,
I'm
Kari, I'm I'm wondering if you'd want to continue this conversation and maybe more of an open discussion about
yeah,
it, because
yeah,
I do have a lot that I can share with you and talk about it,
yes,
but I
yes,
just want to
please,
be respectful to Robyn, because this was about her speaking about the breath and coming back to that. So if you're all right
yes,
with that, I'd
okay,
love to. Yeah,
absolutely,
thanks.
absolutely. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for giving so much time. I will mute now the microphone.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. And Robyn, I'd love to hear your perspective on that topic in general. And since you mentioned some things that you've already discussed in regards to anxiety, maybe being anxiety triggered and things of that nature. So yeah, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, Kari, wow, thank you so much for sharing all of that. You know, just being vulnerable like that is not easy. And that was just beautifully spoken. I was very impressed that you described it so well, and that I can tell that you are very aware of how, you function and what's going on with you and why you're doing the things that you're doing. So that is a foundation, and that is definitely something that can just be expanded and just grown upon. So I also am very familiar with what you're speaking on. And I'm sure I'm not the only one on this call that feels the same way, that they can resonate. It resonates with them in some way of what you're speaking of. So this is my breath. If you feel led, my breath is what led me to learning how to regulate my nervous system, which is what you need, or I don't want to say need, but it's an invitation. And once, and at 100% am aligned with Justin's belief system, that's what grew my belief system. So as far as saying that you are an alcoholic, I 100% agree with him. You are not an alcoholic. You're so much more. You just have to pull that layer off. It's like it was put on because of the trauma. The nervous system, what happens is the trauma is nodules in our nervous system, and it blocks the energy from flowing freely. So we need to go in, like taking our car to get the oil changed. We need to go in and we need to change the oil, and we can do that with the breath. And we need to get that energy flowing. Same, as dis-ease in the body. It's a blockage. And one other thing that this just seems like a great time to segue into that, or to just speak upon this, is one other thing that Dr. Mortar says is like, and I personally have done this. When you have a blockage, a pain, an ache in your body, it's just holding energy there. So if you get quiet, connect with your breath, and go into meditation, and you ask yourself, where in other parts of the body can I pull energy from? So it will start moving and helping the stuck energy. Where in other parts of the body can my energy flow freely that will help me to move this energy? So, yeah, you're definitely, asking these questions, the right questions. And if you would like to go further, and I see that you just text me on Telegram, I believe, but I will be more than happy to set up a Zoom and we can go deeper into this. I do want to say, and I've been building my practice for a little over 2 years, maybe closer to 2.5 years. And I am in an area where nobody knows about the breath and what breath work is. So it's not like I can just put up a sign and say I do breath work, because there needs to be like a little bit of an explanation behind it. So I just want to say, for anybody that's on here, and anybody that's interested, I offer many forms of breath work with meditation. And it ranges, don't ever let price be a reason not to reach out to me, because I am here, I feel, to try to help empower you to do it. I do not feel that I want you to keep coming to me. I want to teach you so I can empower you to go on your own and do it. So that's an invitation for anybody that would like, to get started in their breath, to reach out, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Getting connected and starting those first foundational patterns and practices with your breath. And this is what I was going to say, is that it is breath work. So at the beginning, there is going to be some resistance from your body, most likely. Everybody's different. There's always an exception to the rule. But there will be a little bit of resistance from the body. But what you do is you just push, just whatever. It's your breath, your pace, your space. So you just push a little bit. Say you're doing 2 minutes and you're getting some resistance. Well, then go 2 minutes and 30 seconds. A little goes a long way. So don't ever think that it's not for you. It does lead to better health. And also I'm just trying to think where I was going with that too. But yeah, I guess that's it.
I accept your invitation to have a Zoom call with you. I would be very happy to do so.
That's great, Carrie. So I will reach out to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Justin, I don't know if you...
Thank you. Tomorrow might be a bit, somebody has a tomorrow might be a bit challenging because I will be probably traveling.
So any pressure, I'll just reach out and you get back when you can. And
yeah,
there's
let's this week is good, yeah, but tomorrow might be very challenging because I'll be moving around a lot probably. I have to figure out if it's tomorrow or probably is. I don't know. But yeah, this week, yeah.
So just moving back into the breath, Justin, and I guess, we could open it up to anybody else that maybe, I don't know if anybody else has any questions they want to ask on the breath or on fasting.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great opportunity to do that. So yeah, if anybody has any questions on the topics that's been discussed today, it would be a great opportunity to do so. So feel free to raise your hand. Of course, no pressure as always, but now would be a great opportunity to ask Robyn any questions about that. And while anyone is considering doing that, Robyn, if you want to maybe share more about your ideas for what you wanted to announce to do, maybe whenever you felt like doing that in a couple of weeks or something like that, you said?
Yes, it's a great time. So, just as a thank you to this community, and to Justin, I wanted to offer a one evening a breathwork session. I was thinking that I'm being led and felt to offer is that we would do, probably 45-minute session on breath and stillness. So this will not be all is invited. And that brings me up to, let me just say real quick, we'll go over some of the risk of heavy breath work. But that this is an invitation to anyone that is more curious. Maybe you're not feeling that today in this conversation that you want to start breath work, but maybe you are curious. So this is a great invitation for that time to just connect with your breath for that 45 minutes, and to just really relax into it. We're going to be doing a breathing pattern where you extend the exhale. So you're inhaling through your nose. You'll be exhaling through your nose or mouth, and it's an extended exhale, and then a hold at the end of the exhale. And the hold at the end of the exhale, we're going to find the stillness. And what that stillness is the true state of consciousness. Nothing's moving. Just for a second, you're feeling that true just stillness of consciousness. So what we'll do is, I don't know why, but I'm feeling a Sunday night at like around 7:00, and I'll get with Justin and see what he thinks in a couple weeks, and we'll post like a flyer or something about that. Me and Justin will get together and get all the details about that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It should be wonderful. And yeah, we'll touch base on the schedule to do that. And yeah, just on that point of exhalation and that stillness, because when we've truly released all this air that we are continuously in communion with, I mean, that's like it's a point that is a leap of faith, because you're expelling every last ounce of it from you, and then that's the point where you can find that divinity, the point that's beyond physical needs. So it is very powerful exercise to do that. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the ways that you guide it and step into that. So we'll stay tuned for that, and that will be Robyn is going to provide that as a complete gift. There will be information to send a donation if you feel inclined to help her out for that time. But we're just so grateful that she's offering this as an opportunity for us to go deeper within ourselves and really reconnect with this thing that we do on a constant basis. Yeah. So thank you for that, Robyn. And yeah, just wanted to offer again to see if anybody has any questions or things they want to talk about in regards to breath or anything that we've talked about today, breath or fasting. So just wanted to give an opportunity, so I'll give a little pause.
I would, I don't know, I would have a one question that keeps bothering me too, even more.
Yeah, is it in relation to the breath or fasting?
No.
Okay, so just to keep it on topic, so we can keep the recording together. On Thursdays is when I have the more open discussion, and all topics are welcome. So I hope you come back, because I do have a lot more to talk with you about all of that, and it'd be a great opportunity to discuss
Okay.
further.
Then in the right time, right topics. Got it.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, anyone else want to jump in on the breath or fasting before we wrap up today? All right, no worries. Robyn, did you have any closing comments before we end today?
I just want to say thank you again. Thank you, every single person on this call. Carrie, for being so vulnerable and open and what you shared. Justin, for just giving me this platform to share my passion. And it's just an invitation for me to just get curious about your breath. Are you breathing? How are you breathing? And when you do that, you'll be surprised how you start feeling. And then it's just one thing leads to another. So yeah, thank you so much. What a great time and conversation. I'm so thankful.
I am thankful too. Thank you. Thank you, Justin Carpenter, Robyn Mason, and everyone here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Robyn. Thank you, Kari. Thanks everyone for being here today. It's yeah, it's wonderful. I'm can't even put it into words. I love you all so very much, and thank you. So we'll continue this journey, this quest, as we find ourselves again and reconnect with what we truly are, who we truly are, and just enjoying the process all along the way. So take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.